morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, whatever it is, wherever you're from. Just wanted to pop in here, knock the dust off this guy after probably about a month and a half, 2 months, something like that. And with recent success, and then of course, somebody asked for it, which is very rare because who the fuck cares what I have to say. I wanted to do a deck profile on AOD. If you don't know what it is, it's Babidi, leader of the Agents of Destruction. Permanent, you treat all Agent of Destruction cards in your hand as if they had no specified cost. There was a lot of debate on this. This does include the extra cards and the unison, stuff like that too. Auto, when this card attacks, you add up to one card from your life to your hand. Then look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Add one card with Agent of Destruction and its card name to your hand, then shuffle the deck. Awakens at 4 or less, it's untap one, draw one. On the back, you got Babidi, the leader of the Agents of Destruction. It's very shiny. If you're looking for this custom leader here, make sure you check out Davidson TCG. It has the same permanent on the back. You treat all Agents of Destructions if they had no specified cost. It doesn't draw on the back, but activate main. You choose one Agent of Destruction in your hand with energy cost 2 or less and play it. All your 3 drops become 2 or less as long as your Babidi's out on the field, so you can play most everything in the deck for free. And you also have to activate main once per turn for 3 generic energy. You choose one unison card, the Agent of Destruction and its card name, and play it with 3 markers on it, which is pretty good. There's a couple different unisons you can play with that, but So, for what I play, I know there's a lot of different debate among players, like what the correct number is to go with these, but I go for Babidi. He is Babidi, Overseer of Destruction. Barrier, permanent. If you have, you can only have one Babidi Agent Overseer of Destruction in your battle area, and you also treat Agents of Destruction cards in your hand if they have no specified cost. So you can actually play this deck setup with a different leader if you wanted to. And then the permanent on this is reduce all Agents of Destruction in your hand by 1. And then the debate is whether or not what the right number is, 3 and 4, 4 and 4, whatever. I think 4 and 4 is the best way to go, especially with the uptick in how much barrier removal there is now. Because if this guy comes off the field in the early turns and you don't have a way to get him back, it's kind of rough. But with Hash, you can activate main, pay 1 generic, discard the card from your hand and search your deck for Evil Wizard Babidi, and just cost 1 from your deck or drop, and play it. You can also play this card. When this card is played, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards, energy costs of 4 or less, and you warp it. And then you can place up to 3 battle cards from your opponent's drop area on the bottom of the deck in any order. That can come up in a couple different matchups, just like U7 getting rid of putting some of their 8 drops and SCR, things like that, back on the bottom, or like Cell, just keep targeting like their 17s and 18s, like specifically, so they don't have those to do with the stuff they need. I play 4 of the extra card, the Agents of Destruction Strike Back. It has a permanent. This card gains Agent of Destruction in all areas, which means it does get targeted by the leader effect and things like that. Activate main. You look at up to 2 cards from the top of your deck. Add up to 2 cards with Agent of Destruction and their card name to your hand, and then place the remaining at the bottom of the deck in any order. And you can't activate copies of this card for the turn. If you added a card to your hand, add up to 1 card from your life to your hand. So this is how you self-awaken. You swing with leader, take a life, play this guy, take another life. That's how you get yourself awakened on turn 2. Because you most definitely, 99% of games, you want to awaken on turn 2 so you can start free playing stuff. Play 4 of the Turles, Chaotic Agent of Destruction. He has Barrier, unique. When this card attacks, you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, put an Agent of Destruction in your hand, and then shuffle your deck. Once your leader flips over, it's very, very important to try and keep him out. It's the only way you're really going to draw a lot of cards on the backside. So, on the front, you draw a whole bunch, and then you just try and maintain your hand size. I play 4 of the Garlic, Immortal Agent of Destruction. Counterattack, negate the attack, and then play this card. And then when this card is played, you play up to 1 Agent of Destruction, the energy cost of 2, other than a copy of this card from your deck with its skills negated for the turn. Usually, if somebody kills your Turles or something like that, you'll usually use that to go get it back and things like that. And then play 4 of the Android 13, Exterminating Agent of Destruction. Counterplay, if your leader card has Agent of Destruction in its card name, the battle card being played has an energy cost of 3 or less. Just placed in its owner's drop area instead of being played, and then you play this card from your hand. Then your opponent chooses one card in their hand and discards it. And then auto, when this card is played, you shuffle up to 2 Evil Wizard cards and or Agent of Destruction cards from your drop area back into your deck. So like any like your important pieces, you can try and recycle them and things like that. And then I played 4 of the Broly Invincible Agent of Destruction. Activate main, discard this card from your hand. For 1, that's a little better. When this, and then you can choose one card with Agent of Destruction in its card name from your drop area and add it to your hand. When this card is played, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards, energy cost of 5 or less, KO it, then look at up to 3 cards from the top of your deck, add 1 to your hand, and the rest go to your drop. I play 3 of the Baby Janemba Malefic Agent of Destruction. Energy Exhaust, blocker, offering, limit 1, which you can only play it once. Only get the offering once per turn. Also, as a permanent, if you have 5 or more cards in if your opponent has 5 or more cards in rest mode, you negate the energy exhaust in this skill, which once in a while with my build it comes up, but you usually don't charge this guy. The offering, of course, is your opponent either crits a life or you draw 2 cards. Very important in the late game to give you some way to draw. I played 2 of the Lord Slug Agent of Destruction. Auto, when you play this card, your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and discards it. And you can pay 1 green once per turn, activate main. Choose 1 Slug's Army card from your hand at an energy cost of 3 or less, other than this card, and play it. I don't play the Slug package or anything like that anymore. Like, I still play some pieces in the sideboard, but I've moved away from having it in the main board. I played 2 of the Vegeta Agent of Destruction. This auto, when you play this card, choose one of your opponent's battle cards, energy cost 25k power or less, and KO it. The once per turn only works if your leader card is red, so don't worry about that. Now, I play this, 1 to have an extra red source for another card that I play in the deck. Also because being able to KO something by the power level instead of, where Broly does the energy cost. There's some other stuff, like thwarting, things like that you can still hit with this guy that you can't hit with this. I play 1 Bojack Agent of Destruction. When this card is played, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barriers such as rest mode. Sometimes this can come up, but it's kind of so-so. And you can also activate main, pay 2. If this card is in rest mode, choose your opponent's leader card, switch it to rest mode, and it can't be switched to active mode till the end of your opponent's turn. This is relevant occasionally, The big reason I play this is to have an extra yellow source for a couple things that I play in the deck. But like I said, sometimes it's good, if you go swing before you've done your free play and your opponent plays a blocker, then you just, play this guy for free, put the blocker in rest mode, and keep swinging. I play just 2 of the Majin Buu Assault of the Agents of Destruction. Everybody knows what this guy does, but, double strike blocker, activate main, draw a card, and then switch it to active mode. And if your leader's blue, which this one was not, you can switch your mono blue energy to active mode. And then, -1 when your opponent attacks with a battle card. Key is battle card. You may choose one of their battle cards and place at the bottom of the deck. It's bonusing. Everybody knows what bonusing does. I play 1 Vegeta Resolute Agent of Destruction. Double strike crit, auto. Choose 1 card in your hand and discard it. When this card is played, you can choose all your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier and KO them. This card is really good. I'm constantly changing up the number of these, but if I play an extra one of these in the sideboard, I might end up moving the second one back to the main board. It has a plus. The plus is this card gets plus 5k power for the turn. So you play it out for 3 plus 1, 25k double strike critical. And then the -5 very rarely comes up in the deck, but if your leader card is an evil wizard or all your energy is mono green, you choose 3 cards in your opponent's hand and discard them. This is kind of controversial depending on who you ask, but I play a 2-2 split on the super combos. I play 2 of the Goku super combos and then 2 of the Lord Slug Mighty Agent of Destruction. This one, it doesn't draw, but if your opponent activates a counterplay, they have to pitch 2 cards, which is pretty good. But this is just for like later game and like instances where, got rid of Turles, just being able to draw 1 more extra card. I like it that way. It's pretty comfortable for me. For Bean, it does what Bean does. You Choose one of your cards, give a plus 5k for the turn, and then switch 2 of your energy to active mode. It definitely allows you to be much more like offensive and defensive depending on what strategy you're trying to go for. I played 2 of the Support of the Dark Empire. You know, it's a token negate. It's super good. They are what they are. I have started playing a lot of these, like especially in the early game. If you play a lot of the Garlics, if you want to try and be aggressive and things like that, you run out of negates if the opponent can get around and play late game. So I do play 1 Protector of the People. You know, negate the attack, and then you choose 1 card in your hand, discard it, and then if your opponent, then choose 1 of your leader cards, and if your opponent attacks with a battle card for the rest of the turn, it gains 5k power for the turn, and it does stack. So you know it's pretty good floodgate. Usually stops most people from swinging too many times. Especially if you like get this and got a bean on it, you're already giving your leader 25k. It's hard to swing into a 25k. 1 Champa does what Champa does, plus 10 double strike. I do play 1 man on a mission, sometimes for early game just to get that little extra in, or you know, late game just have something free to play. Now with the Vegetas and the Bojack that I play 1 copy of Super Baby 2, Vengeful Rampage, in the main. I also play a second one on the side, depending on what kind of deck that I'm playing against. You EXO for 2 on top of your Baby Nimbus. It has Offering as well, and then when you play this card, choose all your opponent's battle cards, ignoring Barrier. For the duration of the turn, their skills are negated, and they can't be placed in the combo area from your opponent's battle area, and this card gains dual attack for the duration of the turn. So against stuff like, pray for it. Against like Trunks Vegeta, stuff like that, it plays out a bunch of, you know, like the Trunkses with blocker and things like that. You know, if you throw this out there, their blockers become irrelevant. Or, you know, Bulma. You know, she wants to put 25 different little, you know, 1-drop Earthlings and shit like that out on the field, and you play this, and they mean nothing. I play 1 Goku, Strength of Legends. This one is activate main if you have 1 mono red, mono blue, mono green, and mono yellow card in your drop area, and you have 4 more entry plays card from your hand. Another reason why I play the Vegeta and the Bojack in there, just to give me extra copies of this. Because without the Vegetas, literally the only thing that I could hit this off of is the Champa, which makes it really, really difficult to get this card out if you want to. And it has activate main. You can play red, blue, green, yellow. Switch this card to active mode. It gains critical, double strike, dual attack. So you end up getting a triple attack, double strike, critical, which is pretty hard to deal with. And then again, like a lot of controversy over what SCRs I want to play. I play the Vermilion Sands because in a lot of these decks that you have to deal with, you know, being able to stop, like, you know, counterattack and wipe an opponent's board and give your leader like 25k for the turn is really, really big. And then depending on what your opponent's doing, like say against like U7 or all these red decks that want to play the Vegeta SCR, you know, if they go to play that and then, you know, they see you have a big fat hand and they're like, okay, the crit's not going to do a lot, so I might as well just swing and try and get them down and kill them that way. You can warp SCRs with this. So, you know, I do that a lot, as I try and hold it up until wait for my opponent to drop, you know, their big bomb and go to swing with it and think they're going to kill me, and then I just wipe their whole board. But what it does is counterattack for each card, or for each card color among cards in battle areas and energy areas. This means your opponent and yours. You choose one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barriers, send it to the owner's warp. For each card sent to the warp with this skill, your leader gains plus 5k for the turn. So, you know, if you've got all the colors out like you normally would, because I try and make sure that I charge my energy accordingly, so by like turn 4, I can at least get 4 battle cards, which means leader gets plus 20, so leader's at 30k, throw a bean on there, so 35k, nobody's going to swing into that. The other activate main, I don't play any of the multicolor black cards in here, so that doesn't matter. But, you know, tell me what you think. If you like it, let me know. If you don't, you know, do whatever it is you do when you don't like shit.